Hi there. So this is the fourth of my four things that you need to be doing this week to get yourself a grade 9 or an A star. And today I've got a good one for you. It's talking. Talking is a really important thing. Anyway, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But if you're a GCSE student, I've got something for you that I've been working on for a little while, and it is down in the description. It is a PDF of a set of questions that I've been working on that I'm going to make a book, a real book. There are 80 multiple choice questions. They're for all exam boards, and there are also some longer written questions, and there are some marks and things. It's still a bit of a work in progress. I've been really working hard to get it out before the exam season really kicks off. But have a little look at that. It's a link in the description just to download from Google Drive a PDF of questions, all exam boards for GCSE. But I'm going to talk about what you need to be doing right now to get yourself a A star or a grade 9 in your GCSE or in your A level. And today's idea is talking, and it's really about explaining stuff out loud, right? And because when you think about stuff in your head, what you do is you skip over stuff. Your brain just automatically skips stuff. You look at something, you think about it, and you know what? You don't really fully process it. You don't really fully go through the idea. You think, oh yeah, I get that. This happens to me time and time again when I plan out a lesson or something like that, and I haven't fully thought it through. I'm just like, oh yeah, I know how to do that. I understand that. And I get to the front and think, oh, I've forgotten how to do that. So if you put your idea into words, it forces you to fill in the gaps. It forces you to make sure you consider something fully. So I strongly suggest you talk through your answers. Now, as soon as you had to put those things into words, you will fill in the gaps. And our brains are weird, right? We don't even like to sound like an idiot in front of ourselves. So I'm not saying you have to do this, you have to talk through in front of somebody, although that really does make you focus. When you have to talk through something in front of somebody, it really makes you focus. So I would suggest you try that. But we don't even like to sound like an idiot in front of ourselves. So we and we and we stutter, and we try and make stuff up. And that's when you really think, oh, I don't know this as well as I really should. So actually, that's the kind of Feynman idea. It's the Feynman technique to learn anything really, is to actually talk out loud, put it into words, just explain something to the wall. Better yet, explain it to your camera, and then when you think you get it right, you save that video or you save that audio file and you listen to it for your own revision. But I think talking out loud is really, really good for, you can be repetitive, you can go over it several times, you can put things into words quite quickly when you talk out loud. And you make sure that you get the word in right for the marks. A couple of questions in the chat, and I'll have a little look at those later, okay? Lots of people just saying hey and stuff like that, which is awesome. But I'm going to carry on with this idea, and I'll come back to this in the description. There's a GCSE set of questions. Sorry, there's not an A-level set of questions there. That is something too far. I've had so many plans this year, and I'm way behind where I really wanted to be, but I really just wanted to get these GCSE questions out in time for you to have a go, practice this for your exams starting next week. So I'll come back to chat in just a little while. But here's more about talking for revision, okay? Why not talk to your friends? Maybe they have found some bits easier than you do, and maybe they're better at explaining some bits than you are. So talking to your friends, asking them to explain stuff is a really, really useful thing that you can do. Maybe they notice something that you didn't realize was important. So maybe they say, hey, I went through that topic, I went through the SHM topic, and this is the key 3 things you need to remember. And that's going to help you explain in any kind of question. This is the bit that's going to come up time and time again. So actually use your friends as a resource. Give them a little call or something, or voice call, or go around the house, something. If you feel like you can concentrate and you can actually talk out loud, put your ideas into words, it will help you memorize it. It will force you to make sure you get your explanations right, because you don't like to look like an idiot, even in front of good friends. Okay, maybe they find good resources, maybe they find things that actually you haven't found out. So if you talk to people, what are you doing to revise this? Where's some good questions for this? Anything like that, do it. And it's so important to get these explanations word perfect, because one word added or one word missing can totally change the meaning of what you say. And we have to be so exact with our meaning in GCSE or A-level physics. So once again, if you're a GCSE student, then there is a book full of GCSE questions. They are ones that I've written for myself. I'm planning on putting them out as a book in the future. I was hoping to have them out by this time this year, or a lot earlier this year actually. But things, one thing after another has meant that I haven't really had the time to do that. But I think you'll find them really, really useful, especially the MCQs. One of the things we did, I'll go over the 4 things for getting an A star that I've gone through, because you can still fit them in this weekend. And I'll give you some instructions for what you're going to do tonight. If you go through those MCQs on that document, there's downloads a PDF. If you go through these MCQs, you're going to be able to diagnose exactly where you need to work on in your GCSE. So I'll have a quick look at the chat, then I'll come back to these ideas once more. Hi Ishan, hi Karim. Yeah, I can't provide locked ones. I don't have access to locked ones for a start, and I won't provide locked ones, for anyone, because it's just not fair. The terms and conditions are there for a reason. I think pretty much all the 2018 papers should be unlocked now, though, so you should be able to find them. Please ask your own school if you need anything like that. They are allowed to give their students the things. We are not allowed to just put them out there on the internet, and anyone who does so is breaking the rules. What do you do when you feel like your brain is going into malfunction after too much work? Do you mean what do I do, or what should you do? I guess is the same thing, isn't it? You need to force yourself to relax. So fit in like something that you enjoy. I would absolutely be sure of that. I really like when I feel like I'm overloaded with things to do. I'm not someone that just goes and I'm not somebody that goes and just like sits down and writes a list or something like that. A lot of people like to get their stress out by making a big long list. I actually like to relax. I often just have a lie down, close my eyes for a bit, and I sort of, I let my brain just sort of take over and just calm down, and automatically I start to prioritize. I start to think to myself, oh, that's something I need to do now. Actually, I could do that tomorrow. And I start to sort of talk myself out of the funk, out of the sort of stress of it. So I think that's probably quite good as well. Okay, so what are pulses in ultrasound? So pulses is the individual wave, like a burst of waves. So the point is in ultrasound, I suspect what you're talking about is you need to have a short pulse, so that the receiver has time to actually listen out for the wave. So it's a pulse, then it waits for the echo, then there's another pulse and it waits for that echo. So there's a gap between the pulses. We often call them chirps. So a chirp is a pulse of waves that changes frequency slightly. And that means it's got a better chance of some of it being reflected if it has these different frequencies. So I hope that makes sense. So essentially a pulse length, and then the gap after it needs to be long enough, the gap after it needs to be long enough to receive the echo, because the same machine, which is the piezoelectric crystal, which is emitting and receiving the wave pulse. So it can't be a continuous wave, because then it wouldn't be listening. It's a bit like a class full of children just talking and talking and talking and not stopping to listen. What's on my mind? I hope that helped, Magic. Right, okay. Oh yeah, that was a help for that bit about relaxing. I don't know, try it, mate. Try giving yourself short bursts of work, and maybe try chilling, give yourself 30 minutes of work, 1 5-minute game of FIFA, 30 minutes of work, cup of tea, 30 minutes of work. Do you know what I mean? Chunk it down a little bit, give yourself the switch off time as well. Somebody said about paper 3, maybe physics unit 3 went awesome. Glad. Is that you finished then, Druv Ripper? You all done for your A levels? That's awesome news, buddy. I'm glad it went awesome. I hope that helped. Tell people what helped, if you don't mind, in the feed here. What was the resources that were the most helpful for part 3 of your A level physics? And I think Lane is having a right go at me. That's a capital. Lane, you capital lettered me, man. You're saying, buddy, you're saying, where are the book for A level? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I did it for GCSE. I prioritized that one. Maybe I should have prioritized my awesome my awesome A level peeps. Okay, but there is this book for if you are GCSE in the description, which is a PDF copy. It's not even finished yet. I haven't even managed to get it perfectly finished, but I've tried to give answers and explanations of common errors where people go, but there's still a few answers missing. I'll try and update them over the week, so hopefully it'll be finished by the weekend, because it's not this week, but it's next week is your first physics exam for your GCSEs. In the future, I'll do things like A-levels. I'm sorry that these aren't ready yet. Okay, can you cram and get a grade 9? Which leads me into my next thing. I want to recap through these 4 things for getting yourself a grade 9. No, you should do some like last minute revision, right? But no, I think A stars and cram and grade 9s aren't going to come through just cramming, but being a bit selective about exactly what you're doing. Like if you're in GCSE, I think the point is, if you only did one subject, it would probably be easier enough to focus on. But I think in GCSE, you've got to be picking just 3 subjects to focus on to get yourself a grade 9. I think it's very important that you checklist yourself one more time, that you don't leave any stone unturned, basically, that you make sure you do this for everything. I think it's very, very important, this was tip 2, that you use a bit of metacognition, that you highlight for yourself the revision style that works best for you, and that you only really do things that are really, really effective in that term there, right? Okay, you only really, and if it's not working out for you, you stop doing it, okay? If this revision is not helping, stop doing it. The amount of times that people say to me, I'm doing all these notes, but it's not really helping, well, why are you still doing the notes, right? Use the notes that exist is what I suggest. And then it's actually finding the hardest questions. So yesterday I was talking about finding the hardest questions. They are going to be typically the ones at the end of exam questions, at the end of exam papers, or the last ones on the textbook page or something like that. The real challenges, the real difficult ones, but you also, by doing the really difficult ones, you also revise the easy stuff. And today I'm talking about talking. And talking is a really useful thing. So here's what I want you to do tonight. For your free A-levels or your free priority GCSEs, I want you to out loud just go for those explanations. Look through the book. Oh, here's microphones, a typical explanation. Put that explanation out there. Say it out loud. It's going to really help it go into your brain. If you just look through on the paper, your brain kind of scans, your brain fills in blanks, and you want to avoid that, because not having that one blank in the exam is going to cost you a mark. If you say it out loud, it's got to make sense, because you guys do not want to sound silly in front of anyone, even yourself. So just explain to the wall. If you find yourself stumbling over, those are the bits you need to look up. If you find yourself fluently getting it out, then that's great. But then you double check, is it at the level of the exam paper? And ring your buddies, ring your pals and say, right, I'm just practicing, I want to explain this thing to you, you explain this to me, okay, and we can have a conversation, make sure we're getting the right level. Maybe they found some really, really good things, maybe they understand a bit better than you, maybe you understand a bit better than them. It's good and it will keep you focused. These are good things for you to be doing. So another weekend and one more week pretty much before the physics A-level, and one more week for the GCSE A-level, GCSE physics, sorry. Next week GCSE starts proper. You'll be absolutely fine. I never say good luck to students with exam periods. What I say is, are you prepared? If you're prepared, you do not need luck. All right, I'm just going to quickly scan through now. Last questions. I like Lane's tip. Definitely stop using your phone. Honestly, just don't do it. Keep it for after exams. Yep, I'll tell you a story if you like about my brother. So I bought my brother for his birthday Final Fantasy 11, okay, which was the first massively online multiplayer Final Fantasy. Me and him, big fans of Final Fantasy from Final Fantasy 7, okay, really excited for the remake of Final Fantasy 7. Probably never going to have time to play it, but I'm still excited that it exists. And I bought him Final Fantasy 11, and he said to me, thanks, Kit, that's great. And he put it on the shelf. And I said, are you going to play it? You're not going to play it? He said, no, I'm not going to play it because of my exams. My exams are coming up, so I'm going to play that game after my exams. So I said, can I play it then? And so I took it and I installed it and I played it and I got to level 30, what was I? Samurai. It was really exciting, really cool. Loved collaborating with all Japanese and American players. Fantastic game. But it took up so much time to get there. And Dickie said to me, he said, well, that's really good that I didn't finish. I didn't play it now. During my exams, I'm going to play it now. Now it's finished. And he literally almost cut off contact with the outside world, and he played that game and got to level 60 Ninja, and he was incredible at it. Had a wonderful, wonderful time. And then results day came along, and of course he did fantastic and got a first and got his kind of dream job, and that was wonderful. So he actually just delayed that gratification, and he focused on play after it, and he felt better for doing that. So I would strongly suggest that leave your things, leave your phone, leave your Xboxes, leave your PlayStations until after the exam period. Now, focusing on that, knowing that you're going to get to that period where you can relax and play and feel really proud of yourself, and hopefully on August the 22nd, you can be opening that. That's for GCSE, or the week before for the A level. You can be opening that envelope and you can feel really proud of the grades you got. And it doesn't matter what level that is, what grade that is. I know I talk a lot about A star and grade 9. I know that, but really there's two grades. There's one you're proud of and one you're not. And if you're proud of it, it's because you know you've worked at it your best. All right, you can do it. Anyway, that's the end of story time. Good advice, Lane. Would you encourage going over everything? No, that was the purpose of step 2 in this week's little chat, which was, or was it step 1, which was like, you have not got time to go over everything again, so prioritize your hardest bits. Past papers will do that, but I think actually now's the time to be thinking to yourself, targeting areas, targeting questions, rather than whole past papers. Don't worry about it is a good one. Yeah, it's hard not to, but it's it's. But don't worry that there's no sense in the worry. I've been over everything, but I think I might forget stuff. Well, no, you will forget something, but like, students don't go into exams and just completely mess things up. Okay, so go in there feeling confident, and you can do that. Chris hasn't touched consoles in months. That's good to hear, Chris. I haven't touched my consoles in years. I always sort of like think to myself, I'm going to buy a new console, and then I just don't. And I've got a good enough PC now to play some games, but I just don't want to install Steam on it because I just know what will happen. I'll just play that and not do any work. Chris doesn't play is a more apt name than, yeah, okay. Very good one, John. All right, yeah. Yeah, okay. Thumbs up from William, thumbs up from Chris. If you're GCSE, then check out the PDF in the thing. If you do take it, it's something that I want to sell in the future, but if you do take it, then maybe can you just give me a revision when you give me a review when it does come out. If you see it coming out next year, that'd be really, really useful. Yeah, it's about like I've tried to write them like to highlight common errors. I've tried to write them quite hard. I've tried to write them so that to help you kind of target areas and figure out the extra bits you need to do. I think the MCQs, I think a big bank of MCQs is a great way to scan through the topics quite quickly and work out where you're best to be focusing on to make your time as effective as possible. And I would also think now about, the 2 periods, this next 2 weeks, then the half term, and then the 2 weeks after that as being almost like 2 separate exam periods, and get yourself that slight break, but also another week to go through the same processes we've gone through this week of preparing to get those top grades in those exams. So tonight's tip is go away and start talking. Talk to your wall, talk to your friend, talk to your dog, talk to your phone, whatever you want to do. Talk to your phone in terms of like recording something or make yourself a little video. Explaining stuff to video really tests you out. I found that straight away when I started making videos, like actually there was areas that I didn't maybe understand as well as maybe I thought I'd done, even though I could explain them fluently in front of class. To explain it in front of a video was nerve-wracking. Multiple choice questions, Chris, is an MCQ. So your first part of every exam now is MCQs. And the reason they do that is so they can cover so much of the spec quickly. And so MCQs are useful, multiple choice questions are useful because they're quicker to answer than other questions, and so you can get through quite a large chunk of the syllabus quickly, and so which bits are your weaker areas. I'm going to do some videos using MCQs in the near future as well. Target a revision until each exam, only at things you got wrong in the mock. Exactly, that's perfect magic. All right, buddy. Sounds like you guys are ready. Have a great weekend. Probably this is a good weekend for working rather than chilling, but look forward to chilling after the exam period.